Okay, 4-2-1. This is a chromatic based exercise. This first variation is called Triplet Flow. So when you're doing a triplet, obviously your right hand's doing chord note triplets, and your left hand is also doing that. And we're trying to really get that flow to continue even though we take out the other hand, okay? So we're doing just a simple chromatic scale, right? Then we're gonna keep that right hand flow. That's a whole tone scale where we're skipping over every half step, okay? And then we're doing the same thing. So you're really learning that the right hand plays these three notes, C, D, E, and then F sharp, G sharp, A sharp. And the left hand's playing these four notes, B, A, G, F, and then D sharp, C sharp. So you're learning, and you're learning how to isolate that. So you're working on kind of two things here. Your right hand's learning the whole tone scale that it's playing, and the left hand whole tone scale that it's playing, because they're both whole tone scales, they're different groupings of notes. And then we're also working on that right hand flow, left hand flow rhythmic wise, because it's kind of a drumline exercise that we're kind of working on in keyboard too. Okay, and then we just do a chromatic scale all the way up to the higher octave as well. So I think I might do here so you can see better. But after that, we kind of go, this is called 4-2-1 because it's in a 4-2-1 setting. So where we do 4 beats of triplets and then 4 beats of chord note triplets. Then eventually we're going to do 2 beats, and then at the end there, we're kind of doing kind of a fun little chromatic exercise. As you go through this, you'll notice that everything is just the opposite and goes from the top to the bottom and so on, but it's the same kind of idea. When we get to the 2 section, which is in your 5th line, there's kind of a pattern here that we're learning here. Okay, so both the 5th line and 6th line start that way, but they're a little bit different in the 3rd measure of each, so make sure you're careful about that. And you kind of work on understanding where they pivot. C, F sharp, C, A, and you kind of pivot between A and F sharp on one of them. Okay, and one of them just keeps going down. Then we kind of pivot from C, A, C. So a lot of times the pivot note is going to be C, F sharp, and A. When we get to the 1s in the last line, we're just going to do octaves and really work on our right hand flow, left hand flow, and then there's a rhythm that we're working on in the drum line. Okay, so if you're looking at the first version I sent out, if you're looking at the last line of Triplet Flow, the 2nd measure actually has a mistake. That should be a quarter note, not an 8th rest. A quarter note on the C, and then it's followed by an 8th note on the C, so that turns into. So it's not rest. That's a mistake. Hopefully you're looking at the version that's correct. So at the end there we have. Okay, just working on our timing. Okay, so let's give this a whirl. 1, 2, ready, go. Okay, for triplet timing and the next exercise, triplet single accent shift, we have this new pattern instead of the chromatic pattern. We're going from C's to G's to B flat and E flat. So it's kind of a little fun. So you got a 4th and then a 4th here. Okay, we're kind of working in that pattern in a circle. And then for triplet timing, we're working on the timing rhythms the drum line is doing. This is just good timing for everything. Now, I would learn it on 1 note first or octaves first. And then eventually you can get the split. The second measure is your 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Your fourth measure is your 2 3 2 3 2 3 2 3, and then your sixth measure is your 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 3, which we worked on the first triplet flow. So here we go. 1 2, ready, go. To our triplet accent shifts, it's the same idea, but we're doing accent shifts. So again, make sure you can play this maybe in octaves first. That's one way to work on that, and then do your rounds. Okay, so go ahead and start playing lower on the first measure and then bring the accents out. Here we go. Let's give this a shot. I'm going to go a little slower, and you're just going to have to work through this one and work out your transitions. I think the downbeats are easy. It's the second partial, 1 lolly, 2 lolly, 3, because you move before the accent. And then the last one, on the third partial, you move after the accent. Move, move, move. So it's quite strange at first, okay? So you're gonna have to work on your coordination. I'm gonna go slower. 1, 2, ready, go. So that's going to be quite interesting for you. So now we're moving on to the 4 mallet exercises in 4-2-1. So what we're doing here is we're trying to work on our interval shifts quickly. Okay, up till now we've done some interval shifts with stepwise motion, but now we need to learn how to move back and forth pretty quickly. Okay, so we start in kind of our home position, C and E. We're going to keep C, and we're going to move up to a fifth. So we had a third, now we're moving to a fifth, to CG, back to C and E, home base. And we're going to keep the E now and go to a fifth, and go to A and E. Okay, then we go back to home base. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to keep the inner mallets where they are on E and C and squeeze in to get a D on the outsides. And that's a second, okay? And then we kind of go through this in a 4-2-1 method, where we do 4 each, 2 each, and then 1 each, okay? So this is not too difficult, you just got to get the pattern learned, okay? Go a little faster. 1, 2, ready, go. On a piston stroke, always. idea what we're looking for there. Okay, so you're just trying to work on your coordination of opening your intervals quickly and good hit spots, good piston, and developing your spatial awareness and coordination. Okay, single independent strokes. So this is working on moving one mallet at a time. When we're doing this, we don't want to see the other mallet move too much. Let's say we're moving the outside mallet here. We don't want this one shaking up and down. We want it up in the air, and we want to keep it still as possible. So this is, I call the first mallet and fourth mallet kind of a knuckle rotation. We're rotating on our knuckles. And then our inside mallets is kind of more of a thumb rotation, where we're kind of almost like a bass guitar slap. Okay, so make sure you're really working on this and isolating the motion. And you gotta have your hands up the whole time. I'm seeing some videos with hands that are rotating, but they're down. Okay, so this is pretty simple. 4, 2, 1. You're going up and back down, basically. Okay. Really, this is very simple, so you can focus on the technique and the rotation and your hands being up. Okay, setting it on fits. 1, 2, ready, go. Get a nice big sound. It's a quick motion. And we do it again. Fourths. Once. After every stroke, if I took a picture, you would be up at the same height with all your mallets. Okay? So always return back to the up position. Okay, pretty straightforward. Focus on your technique, sound, quick strokes, rotation.